to hear all about it. Our next speaker, thank you.
Thank you. So thanks everybody. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be standing near the mic. That's all. Yeah, thanks everybody, and thanks for inviting me over here. We're going to talk a little bit about the use of AI services in the Microsoft stack and how you can use them to your advantage. So the idea of this the session goal is to acknowledge change and to inspire. So a little bit of AI, as one says. Just to keep it fun. So I tried to keep this presentation a little bit light, so to have a little laugh, because it's a long day, and I hope you're all enjoying yourself. I find it a very interesting conference, but we have beside me another presentation to go, and we have free beer at the end. So that's really, I'm from the Netherlands, so that's good to know. So, questions? Yes, please. I'm not Gandalf the Grey. Although I have grey hair, I don't have all the answers. I'm more like the guy who threw the ring in the fire, and I'm going to take you on my trip across the AI country of Microsoft and through the valleys to see what happened and what I found out. So, a little bit about me. My name is Gerjon Kunst in Dutch, but that sounds like I had some kind of mishap, but it's Gerjon Kunst in English. I work at Rawworks, Dutch company, as Innovation Officer. I'm a Citrix CTA and I'm an MCT for Microsoft, so that's what I do for my work. AI is my work and my hobby, and we're going to talk about unicorns and rainbows, all the things you can do with it. Not all the things you should do with it, but all the things you can do with it. So, first off, agenda. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is AI. We're going to talk about the state of AI, the constant change, the things that are happening at the moment, and how fast the world is going. Then we're going to look at Microsoft's view on AI. I have some examples of the different AI services. And we have a little wrap up at the end to get you going for the next steps. So, what is AI? The best way to ask what is AI is to ask AI, what is AI? That's a lot of AI in one sentence, but it says here, artificial intelligence has to do with reasoning, making decisions, solving problems, using natural language processing. Some examples are ChatGPT and machine learning algorithms. A lot of text on one slide. You get the slides at the end, I think, Neil said, so you can read this at home when you're bored. But what's the first thing that comes to mind when you're looking at artificial intelligence? So, in my perception, it can be something that can be done, that does stuff for you. So most of the images are generated with Microsoft Designer or DALL-E or whatever. So if they're not completely up to par, talk to the marketing department. So it can be something that does stuff for you. It can make you whole. So it can do something with you. The AI in gaming, for example, or the first picture can be the robo mop you have at home to do your so that you don't have to vacuum yourself. It can be someone to talk to help you rewind and relax. It can be someone that can help you when you're sick, when you're in need of some assistance. It can also be someone that makes you whole. For example, if you've seen a Netflix series, and Netflix says to you, well, based on your demography, your age, location, and what you like, perhaps you like this series, just to make you whole. So you don't have to look for yourself. So to make your life easier. Or it can be Terminator 2, I'll be back. Let's hope that that's not the case, but there is a possibility that things can go south really fast. But that's not, we're talking about rainbows and unicorns. This is not going to happen. So, who knows this guy? Word 95, Word 97, I think. He was introduced, Clippy. Our true friend from the elders, who you could ask anything and you got an answer to a question you didn't ask. So, Microsoft says it's more like a co-pilot, more like a racing pilot. So a co-pilot that can help you get to where you want to go. And perhaps I included a small clip just to make it a little bit more relevant. No, but just to show you, it is a co-pilot. It can help you make your stuff easier so you don't have to do it for yourself, as this clearly demonstrates. So we're going to look, and then we're going to look a little bit about the history. Where are we coming from and where are we going? So if you look at the history of AI, so those are the 1950s. That's quite a long time ago. It all started with the Turing test. I don't know if any of you know that, but that's the test that a human asks a question, and if he can determine that the answer is given by another human or a machine, or if he can determine that the answer will be given by a human or a machine, it passed the Turing test. It's the first test to see if an artificial kind of system can do human-like responses. This handsome fellow was the guy who conjured up the name artificial intelligence in 1956. I can't remember his name, but I can't see the show notes, so I can't tell you. So please look, if anyone knows him, please let me know. Could be him. But then in the 1970s, artificial intelligence, the idea was good, and they tried everything, but the compute power wasn't there, and there were other issues in the world that need to be solved first, so they put it in the freezer for the moment. But
Thomas,
it has been around for a while.
Thomas, come in here and see what I've got. Thomas, meet McCannell. Mr. McCannell here is taking your job as mouse catcher. Are you through laughing, Tom? Then watch this.
This movie is from 1954, if I'm not mistaken. So they were thinking about that way back when. So in the 1980s, it all came back with the Klondike project. They revived AI and they tried to find things to do with it. And I don't know if anyone knows what this was. This was Deep Blue, exactly, 1997. This is when Kasparov lost to the Deep Blue from IBM. So for me, I was just a young boy then, as you can see. But for me, that was some kind of scary moment that you're thinking, computers are getting smarter, and I don't know if I like that. But as we're getting older, we're getting used to that. So the 2010s, those were the Alexa, the Siri years that we could do text-to-speech, and the computer could do basic stuff, basic things for us. And then OpenAI came around with GPT-3 in 2020. And GPT 3.5 in 2023, and then it really hit off. So, and this is the world we live in now, where AI is one of the things that we have to deal with in our daily lives. This is a video of a year ago, the top one. The bottom one is OpenAI Sora. That's released a few weeks ago. You can see the speed and quality that it makes.
Spaghetti with it.
Just to show you that AI is evolving really, really rapidly in every direction. So the first one was a fake AI of Will Smith eating spaghetti, as you could see, but the second one is just an AI of a birthday. It's generated, both are generated movies, but you can see the difference in quality. We're getting really close to really creating stuff with AI, visually. So, what is AI? AI is a lot. AI is very interesting. So, then we're going to look at the state of AI, and you can't have a presentation without a hype cycle, Gartner hype cycle. That's something that you need in a presentation just to make sure. I've done my due diligence, look, because I put this in the slide. And what you can see here is that the generative AI that we talk about, the large language models, the chatting, is now at the top of the hype. So everybody's talking about it, everybody wants to be involved in it, wants to work with it. And there will be some downfall coming that we discover that it won't be as awesome as we all think and hope. But in the end, it will be something that will be with us for the long run. And you can see on the left side, there are a lot of other things that are coming in the AI world and in the AI development. But just to show you the generative AI, so the talking to chatbots, is something that's really on top of the hype cycle at the moment. So then the thing that I got this from a website from PricewaterhouseCoopers, but they made a typo somewhere, I think. Yeah, SamChat. So I'm not sure what that is, but I didn't think it made it because I haven't got that on my phone. But just to show you that it took LinkedIn 7 years to get 100 million subscribers, ChatGPT 2 months. Threads only 5 days. That's because we all hate Elon Musk and what he did to Twitter. That's because we all jumped over to Threads. But ChatGPT in 2 months got 100 million users for something just talking to a machine. It's incredible numbers. So then we're going to talk a little bit about the large language models that ChatGPT have. You have two things. The bottom one are the paid models, and the above is mostly the free. But you can see there are a lot of big players that are really investing in developing large language models. So you have Google with BART, which is now Gemini. You have Grok, that's from Elon and his friends. You have Mistral, open source. Microsoft has Pi. A lot of the big players are running with this and are developing and really investing time and money in getting this done. So the models that you talk about and the large language models, they keep getting better and faster. So then a little bit about the big players. If you look at the one that's making the big bucks, that's NVIDIA, because all this AI has to run somewhere, and it runs on hardware that uses NVIDIA GPUs. So I think NVIDIA was worth more than Canada gross in GDP. It's incredible. It's just a company. They make more money than Canada in total. But Google, OpenAI, and Microsoft, IBM also is a big player for their expert systems. So they do a lot of things where they check for cancer, for tumors. They can do image checks to see, and they have a better hit rate than humans. And of course, Tesla with their autonomous driving. Not all of us are Tesla fans. I have one man in the room here who's definitely not a Tesla fan, but their autonomous driving is really up there, and it's getting better and better. And there are a lot of other companies that are really invested in AI and the use of AI in their products. So then the big question is, okay, but what am I going to do? How am I going to start? So there are a lot of ways to start, but if you want to go on the left side, you can go with the open source or free to use, or the paid cloud models like ChatGPT, BART, or Gemini, or whatever. For generative AI, you can use DALL-E, Midjourney, Pixar to create pictures. There is a list of 152 of the best AI tools of 2023 on there. Those are from creating complete movie scripts to editing, to creating pictures, to creating music. And all this you can have $5 a month, and you can create music. It can create music for you. So that's really incredible of all the things that are happening. There are also a lot of business application integrations. I have my brother works at a company that they are looking at software where you can do that can have intention to buy monitoring, so they can check in a Teams meeting on the way people talk or react in the meeting what the intention to buy of the product is. That's scary, but that's something that's here. That's not something we think about. That's something that's here. You can buy now with your credit card. And another thing is Jabra, from the headset, they can do sentiment analysis based on the talk you have with the customer. To say, well, the customer says, well, thank you for your help. It can be, oh, thank you for your help. Or it can be, oh, thank you for your help. And the sentiment analysis over the phone, they can get that information from the voice. So those are really business application integrations based for one thing, but they can do that very well. And of course, you can run your own bots offline on your own laptop or in a data center where you want to run it, and you can do anything you want with it. But we're going to focus on the right side. So we're going to look at a few of the Microsoft Copilots for a little bit. We're going to look at Microsoft Designer, and we're going to build our own bots. And that's the really cool part. And then I hope I can inspire you to do that after this session. So first off, let's look at AI in the Microsoft world. Microsoft says, at Microsoft, we believe artificial intelligence is the defining technology of our time. So we had the mobile phone, we had cloud, we had virtualization. This is one of the biggest things in our time. And this is Microsoft has a conference once a year, the Microsoft Ignite. They do an ebook of that with all the new releases, the things they're going to release the coming year, and they name the word AI 207 times in a 60-page document. So you might say they replaced every comma with AI because it sounds cooler, but just to show you how big they are on AI. Besides that, there is a law firm in Switzerland called Fischer. They are a Swiss law firm dedicated to providing effective legal solutions for Swiss and international clients. So they use the Swiss law to look at the things that are happening. And they did a check of the compliance and regulatory things of all the big AI companies. And they said, use of Copilot, Microsoft 365, or Azure OpenAI service offers contractual protection in terms of data protection, and confidentiality for companies. So they did a check based on Swiss regulations, which are very strict, and they say Microsoft is the best of the worst. That's another reason to try this. And why does that change? Is Microsoft approach different to the OpenAI approach? Microsoft says everything that you do stays in your tenant. It's not used to train the models. It's not used in anything else, where in OpenAI, your information can be used to train models. And if you put something in there that you don't want anyone else to know, it might come up as an answer for a question someone else asks. It's just so you know. So if you have any users in your company that use JetGPT, please advise them to be very strict in what they put in information. So this is some of the things they can do. The risk of intellectual property IP exposure is contained because it's all in your own tenant. You have private access. Compliance and governments can be regulated using purview tooling and other tooling. And well, of course, Microsoft is a very big company, so they will develop this and will keep developing this. OpenAI released a JetGPT team that counters some of these issues. So not to saying that OpenAI is bad or all the others aren't as good, but looking at it from a regulatory perspective, Microsoft has the best cards. So looking a little bit at the landscape, you have AI-powered productivity. We'll look at that in a little bit, and you have AI-powered solutions. And we're going to go through the spectrum. This is someone in the community made this. So this is the Microsoft Copilots, and there are a lot of them. So there's a Copilot for Intune coming, Copilot for security coming. So there are a lot of Copilots that we can use in the coming time to make our work easier, so we can do other fun stuff. So looking at the Microsoft landscape, there are 4 chunks. Let's put it like this. You have the complete SaaS, that is Microsoft Copilot, where you integrate large language model, etc., inside Dynamics, Microsoft 365, Azure, Bing, Power Platform, Windows, GitHub. So you can have large language, so you can have generative AI help you with your daily tasks. Then you can extend the Microsoft SaaS Copilot, for example, for Microsoft 365, and you can add in your own low-code development, so you can add plugins to your own application inside the Microsoft 365 Copilot, and you can build your own. So you can use the Microsoft Copilot Studio, Azure AI Studio, or Azure AI Services to build your own generative bot, creating images, image recognition, whatever you want to do. And I have some examples of that, but just to show you, Microsoft has a lot of stuff in their toolbox to play around with. So then we're going to start with examples. Showtime. First off is, of course, Copilot. Is there anyone in the room that's already using it on a daily basis? Some of you. Okay. Then these next 5 slides are not that interesting for you. Now, if you look at it, Microsoft, what does it do? You ask a question. It will try to answer that question by looking at your Office 365 tenant, getting information from it, and or the web, and giving you the correct answer, or helping you create stuff. How does that work? My son had to make a presentation for school about Mars, and I said, create a presentation. Oh, that sucks. I gave away the clue. Create a presentation about the Mars Perseverance rover mission and make it animated using 8 slides. It came up with this. It was for his English, and he could go with it to school, and it was done. 1 minute of work. Awesome. And he's like me, he's lazy. So I like AI because I don't have to do anything anymore. So another thing that I had, the marketing department came up to me and said, well, okay, well, we have a new thing, an AI office that we want to, we need a slide deck, a sales deck. I said, okay, where's the marketing information? So they gave me a document, create a presentation from the AI office, marketing. So there we go, 24 slides. It's in Dutch, sorry, but 6 phases of how to get from where you are to where you want to go. Nicely made out with all the correct stuff. So the only thing you need to do is there's far too many text in there, so no one's going to read it. You have to make that a little bit better, but in the essence, you also did the makeup of the slides. I didn't do anything. So just to show you how that can work, and this was a document I made in 2021, 67 pages. The customer was asking me about this document. I don't even know the customer anymore, so I thought, let's summarize that document. And he made a nice summarization of the document, November 2021, just in 2 alineas. I was up to speed. Oh yeah, that was the project again. just to make some, those are Copilot things that are easy and easy doable. But those are the things that Microsoft also shows you. So we're going to go around that very easy. So you can also have your Teams chat summarized if needed. Really cool. There's just a button for that. You click it, you tell it what to do, and it works. Another thing that is on is Teams Premium. I don't know if any one of you has ever been played with that, because one of the things that it can do is it can live translate between languages. So I was speaking to a Frenchman the other week. He was talking in French, I was talking in Dutch, and it translated both to English or to his own language. First we tried English, so we couldn't understand, and then he was talking French and I could read the caption in Dutch. Real time. And it was fairly spot on. So if you want to have something to play around with, I think this is 6 or 7 euros a month per user. So just turn it on for a few users and play around with it, because it will also summarize meetings and will give you to-dos based on the things that are said in the meeting. Really cool to play with. So this is what it does. The left lady is in Chinese, and the other one is in English, and there's someone from South Africa, and it translates all the way around. So that's really cool. Other Copilots. So we did the Microsoft Copilot. Did you know that there is a Copilot for Microsoft Azure? And you can request it. It's in public preview, and you get a button in your Azure tenant, and if you click on it, he says, "Hello, how can I help?" I like it when I get help. So I asked him, how can I improve my secure score? Well, it gave me all these kind of nice information from the help and Microsoft Learn documentation. So that's really nice, but that's not all. What can I do about cost management? So as you can see, this is my production environment at home with a UniFi controller, Tesla-made Docker, and a Pi-hole. But it will give you information about cost management for this VM. So it will also look in your tenant and get information from the tenant and display that to you, so you can do what you want to do with it. And I could say, the next question could be, okay, and how can I save money? That he says, well, perhaps you could use a smaller VM. Or you could say, create an Azure CLI script that creates a Cosmo DB in West Europe based on the cheapest subscription. And it will give you the code to do it. And if you click run, it will run it for you in your Azure CLI. That might be a bit scary, because if he makes an error in the code, you get an error in production. But just to show you how quick and easy, you can just request it online. It will be activated in your tenant, and you can use it. And of course, you have the AI for GitHub. I don't know if anyone, Copilot for GitHub, I don't know if any one of you is using it. We have some developers in our company that are using it and are really loving it, because it helps them when they're stuck or when they don't know how to make something run a bit more efficient, or it could say, optimize this code, or I want to write this. And it will really help you running code, creating code, or checking code. So, boring stuff done. Now we're going to build our own. If you look at Microsoft Copilot in Microsoft Teams, for example, there's a button you can click and you can ask it questions, but you can add stuff to it. So if you look at how they do that, they have the large language model. They have Copilot for Microsoft 365, and you can add it with your own information to your own proprietary system. So a Jira, ServiceNow, or one CRM system, Salesforce, etc. So you can add API calls to that, and it will respond to that. So how will it do it? Once you ask it a question, it will say, okay, this is a question I think I need to solve with Office 365 or with the semantic index for Copilot, and it will search in your tenant, in SharePoint, Teams, whatever, to find the information you need. If it thinks, okay, this is something I don't know, I need to ask it to another system, it will run the plugin and it will interact with the data in real time based on Power Automate, this the old Power Virtual Agent information used with Power Automate. So, for example, you can ask in the Microsoft 365 chat, how many days have I got left? Now it says, I don't know, I'm sorry, I couldn't find the information because I don't have the connection. But if you look at the Copilot Studio, some of you might recognize this as the old Power Virtual Agent Studio. So they just rebranded it and made it better. But you can say here, extend into a Microsoft Copilot. So you can build something. You can say, okay, the trigger is, if it comes from Microsoft Copilot, you need to do something with it. What can you do? You can call an action. So you can create a flow, create a skill. You can ask, you can create a Power Automate flow or whatever you want to do with it. And it will give you that information back based on the query you put in. So that's really cool. So how does that work? If you look at plugins, this is a Microsoft Sheet, hence all the nice thingies. But you can see here, you can add or stop web content, or you can add Confluence or Jira or whatever. And you can also ask it, besides asking Microsoft questions, you can ask it to your applications. And that opens up a whole new can of worms, as they say. Because you can build your own stuff. And this is where it gets really cool. So what happens is, if, for example, you can create a bot, you can publish it in Teams as a chatbot, and it can do stuff for you. So it uses Power Virtual Agent. It will run against Power Automate, that will do stuff. And the Power Automate will also ask OpenAI to interpret the question. So you can use the Azure OpenAI to interpret the question that the user put in and give information back. So how does that work? These are a few of the bots, and one of the bots I made was a Lego bot. I'm fun with Lego, so I thought, okay, let's create a new bot. We created a Lego bot, it's in English, and I said, okay, index that website for me, the Lego website. It did that, and I asked it, what's the most expensive Lego set at the moment? And it says it's the Eiffel Tower, 10,001 pieces. Oh, nice, okay. So then I index the website, and now I can ask anything about Lego, and it will look at the Lego website and get that information for me. So that's really cool if the children have a question, how expensive is that set? Let me check that for you. And it's just create a generative answer. This is just the old Power Automate flows that it runs, and then you can get all kinds of cool stuff with that. And you can publish these bots you build in Copilot, Teams, but also email. So you can make a bot that automatically answers your email based on generative AI. That's easy, that's nice. Or a website, you can import it in a website, and you can also use direct line speech. So you can use speech to text, text to speech. So it can input your answer, convert it to text, run into Azure OpenAI, and just put it back. But this is for the mouse-clicking professional, so not the coding guy, but it's just drag and drop, and then you can build your own bots. Really easy, really convenient. And there are free trials of this, the Power Automate Copilot trials that you can run for 30, 60, 90 days in your own tenant, just to play around with it. You can have authentication, so you can have no other authentication if you put it on your public website, or you can use only Teams or Power Apps, or you can use manual authentication if you have some other authentication instead of Enter ID or whatever. So, and now's the funny part. I talked to someone recently that said about AI not always being right, because when I published the bot and I asked it, what's the most expensive Lego set, it came back to the Louvre. It got the correct pieces, but the wrong set. They call that hallucination, and it's just Copilot being wrong, AI being wrong. So it's always good to check. What's the most difficult Lego set to build? It's the Concorde. So, just so you know, if you have a lot of spare time, try building the Lego Concorde. Another thing that you can do is what I'm doing here. I did this demo at E2E last year, is, for example, this is a chatbot where I can start a VM. You said to chat is my chatbot, of course, and it said start a VM. Okay, now it will start a VM. Now I can drink a beer because the VM is started. But I can also stop the VM just by asking stop the VM. You say, okay, what do you want to do? I want to stop the VM. And what it does here is it calls a Power Automate flow that shuts off the VM. It's just as easy as that. But this might help you because you don't have to do that. You can just tell the computer to shut it off. You don't have to log in anywhere. Just call the chatbot and say, log it off. And you can do this from your phone. So when you're on your road and say, ooh, crap, I think I left my VM on. Turn off VM. It turns it off. And in E2E style, we think Alex is our supreme leader. That's E2E style. He organizes it, so he's the boss. So another thing is, because I'm lazy, I created a help desk bot where I imported Microsoft Learn. That helps because I'm a Copilot, and how can I reset my password? And it will look in Microsoft Learn, and it will give you the way to reset your password on Office 365. Awesome. No more help desk calls. Then I thought, okay, that's nice, but it would be cool to check if the answer is satisfactory, and if not, perhaps do something else. So that's what I tried. Is the answer satisfactory? Yes. Awesome. No. Okay. If the answer is not satisfactory, shall I create an issue with it and then automatically create a ticket in Jira? That works like a charm. And that's really nice, but I made one error because I said, okay, if if the answer is not satisfactory, create a ticket in Jira. And if you don't know what the input is, create a ticket in Jira. But here I was trying to clear the conversation or try to stuff that he didn't have the answer to. And this is the flow that it does it in. It says on the left, it says, question, was the answer satisfactory, yes or no? And on the right side, it says, well, if you don't know what the question is or you don't know what to do with it, create a help desk call anyway. But what it did, it was created calls on every input the user made. That does a lot for your SLA because you can resolve tickets a lot quicker. There are a lot of tickets you can solve, but it's not optimal. So when you're building this, think through how the flow should run and what is a help desk ticket or not. And you can do this for anything, help desk tickets, pool cars, any business value it can have. So that's the custom copilot, so that's more the mouse-clicking professional stuff. We're going to go now a little bit more to the AI stuff. And these are services that are built on top of Azure OpenAI. As you can see here, there's a chat playground where you can do stuff. You have a completion playground. You have a DALL-E that is for creating images, whisper to text, there's text to speech, speech to text, or bring your own data. And that's really nice because, as I said, I'm a little bit lazy and I have a few people that I'm responsible for in HR. But they have questions about sick days, regulatory days off, lease cars. So I created a bot where I put all that information in. So this is the chat thingy, and you can say here there's a system message that says how you want the bot to react. So first try it with a Shakespearean writing assistant. And I asked it, can you give me a poem about Iceland? And it will give me a poem about Iceland in a Shakespearean way. So that's the context of the bot, so how it should respond. I also tried it with, have you tried turning it off and on again at the end of every sentence, like in the sitcom? But you can have it, you can prime the bot with a way it should respond or should react to your questions, and it does that. And it does that really well, so that's really cool. So you can make it formal, less informal, make it angry, make it cranky, whatever you want to do, it will do it. But what I did is I created a bot where I uploaded all these PDFs that we have from our different handbooks on how to, what are the days off of the company, etc., lease car regulations, etc. I put this all in Azure Blob Storage, and I let it scan every day, and then I deployed it to an Azure Web App. So it's just an Azure Web App that's behind our conditional access policies. Users log on, and they can run and say, what are the opening time of the raw base? That's the opening time of our office. And it says, well, it's open on weekdays. And these are the two documents that I found the answer in. So that's really nice because it gives an answer and it also gives the reference where it found the answer. So the user can check if the AI gives the correct answer based on the information that's in the documents. So that's also a very easy and neat way to start with AI and building something that can help your organization and make you have more free time. So then we're going to look at how Azure AI Services does that. So these are more the Azure AI Platform services. So you can spin them up. And you can see here there are a lot of services here. You can have the Azure OpenAI account. So then you spin up a GPT 3.5 Turbo model in your own tenant. And you can talk to it through code or whatever. But it's in your tenant. It's not in OpenAI. It's in your own Azure tenant. And you can use that for computer vision to detect common objects or to OCR information, text, whatever. Or there are a lot of things you can do in there. We built computer vision that could detect if something that was thrown over a wall was drugs or whatever, or something else that was for a mental institution where they had a problem that people were throwing stuff over the walls. And well, you don't want to have a guard at every wall looking, okay, what's this? So we built a bot that could detect what was thrown over the wall and if it was drugs, there would be a red flag and they could pick it up. Another thing we built was for a building company where they can, on the building site, they could check if someone that was walking there should be there or not based on how they reacted. Someone that isn't accustomed to being on that building site and wants to steal something, walks around a little bit different than someone that works there every day and knows and is very confident in the way that he walks around there. So just based on those things, you can build AI, you can use the AI platform from Microsoft to build that stuff. And so they run a part of the infrastructure for you and you just build the code to do what it, and learn what you want it to do. So what I did here is I built, for this example, I built a computer vision model. And what you can see here is you have an endpoint that's on the top, on the bottom. That's how you can connect to it, HTTPS. And you have one or two API keys that you need to connect. You have a little bit of code, and in this code, you put the cognitive services API key and the HTTPS endpoint where you want it to connect to. And then you can run your, in this case, Python code against it. And it will do something like this. So this is a small montage of a video, and it runs for 8 minutes, but we don't have 8 minutes. How much time do I have, Neil? About 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then it's good, this is a short clip, but what it does, it can do object detection, and I can say, okay, the person with the pink jacket, how much time, when was it in the frame? Because she stole something. And it will summarize, okay, and on these moments, she was there at 8:34, 7:22, 7:21, and perhaps some moments more. This is something that you can build using Azure PaaS, relatively easy. But this you can also do, for example, I was at a company that does a lot of drawing of electrical installations, and they have a lot of departments around the country, and they all need to draw the same electrical drawings, and they all need to have the same layout, etc. But not all of them are up to par. So we built a bot where you input all that information, what is correct, into the bot, and then you run every drawing that is made through the bot to check if it's valid based on what it knows. And if it's not valid, send it back. It is not conform or what we discussed. This is not working. Those are just ideas, but you can use these Microsoft AI services, you run them, pay-per-use, and you can do cool stuff with it. So, this is a wrap-up. We're getting to the wrap-up. This is a Microsoft representation of how they think you could wrap up a presentation. Because I asked, can you show me a picture of a wrap-up for a presentation? And he wrapped up the face of the guy in front. It's all about prompt engineering. Don't blame the computer. So first thing that's really important is, who's the boss? So if you look at the Copilot stuff, here on the right, you can see that Microsoft owns a lot of the problems. Because they are reliant for the model, so they have to have the safety system for the application, the responsible AI. They have to build that so that the API does not criticize or whatever. But if you go more to the left, so if you build your own Azure AI services on the platform services that Azure has, you have to be more responsible, and you have to be, you're responsible, for example, for the data governance, for the application infrastructure, for the safety systems. And if you completely build your own models and you run them offline, yeah, then you have even more to bear on the responsibility part, because then you're responsible for everything. So that's also, so that's just so you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And the more power you have, the more responsibility you also have. So, for the roundtable discussion, some food for thought. And those are all debatable, of course. If you look at some of the upsides, it's always available, it's scalable, you can fail fast, you can develop anything. If you think of something, you can build it, you can try if it works, and then perhaps make it even better. There are endless possibilities, and you can automate stuff you don't want to do. For example, create a bot that will automatically answer any HR question there is, or schedule free time. The other part is that there might be in the future, if AI is really evolving, if you look at what OpenAI Sora can do with all the imaging and the movies, there might be some kind of skill loss, because we don't have to have screenwriters anymore, because we can just anyone can write a script and create a movie. So it might not be a paid job. I don't think the world will go that far, but there are possibilities that some things that we do now are less relevant in the future. Automated surveillance at scale, because if you have some AI bot that can check every footage that's coming in all the time, then there's a lot more possible than with one guard looking at 60 screens. There's an AI Act in Europe that will counter this, but it's good to know that there are some drawbacks to AI. And one of the other things, and that's number 7, it's only as good as the information is given. So if you put crap in, you get crap out. So if you train a model, train it with good data, and learn how to ask the correct question. Because otherwise you might get the the bottom right, the lawyers blame ChatGPT for tricking them in citing a bogus law case. They asked ChatGPT, I have this and this law case, is this something that I can run into court? And GPT says, yes, based on this information, you can run it. But the information was wrong, because the context of the question or the large language model bot was not trained with the correct information. And the other thing is on the left, that's the DPD in, I think here in England, or in Germany, I think in England. They created a chatbot to help the users, the customers get, if they had any questions, they could use the chatbot. But within a week, they shut it down because it was helping everyone but the customers. It just wasn't. It wasn't trained in the right way, and the people that were using it weren't properly educated in how to use it. So there's a little bit about the responsibility of AI. It should be transparent, fair, and inclusiveness. Because AI, if you train it the wrong way, it can go wrong very, very well, and it can really tell you stuff that you think, ooh, it shouldn't give that answer. And that's something that Microsoft has embedded in every type of AI they serve. But as we all saw in Who's the Boss, the more you do yourself, the more you're responsible. But Microsoft has a responsible AI principle really high up in every AI that they deliver. So there's a lot of regulation coming. So Biden wants to move fast on an AI Act. In the Netherlands, the EU Act passed recently, last year, where we first legal framework on AI, which addresses the risk of AI and positions Europe to play a leading role globally. So just to keep AI a little bit in the guardrails that it doesn't do anything stupid. Then from experience, if you're using Microsoft AI services for your benefit, it's not like normal software development or application migration. There are a lot of things you need to do about getting your APIs in order, getting your data sorted, getting everything available for the AI to connect to with the correct security. Because if you use an API with admin credentials, you can get to all the data that's on the other side in the application. But not every user should have access to all that data. So be really careful about what information and what security context is used to connect to the different data stuff. The building of the bot is mostly fun work, but then you get to the test and teach. So you have to teach the AI how to respond, and you have to test that, and you have to teach the humans how to use it. Because I think about trademarking this. 15, 20 years ago, we forgot our users how to use Google properly. And we live by that burden every day because they ask us everything that's not working with their computer while they could search it online because that's what we do. If it doesn't work, search online. Oh yeah, have you tried this? Yes, that was the solution. Awesome. Why didn't you search for yourself? I don't know how. So please, 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 when using AI, learn the users how to do proper prompt engineering. I work in the finance department. I'm looking for a document that was written 3 months ago about this. That helps the AI bot get the correct information sooner. But that's something that we have to learn, our users and ourselves. And then the big question, will AI take over? Well, I recently found a really cool thing online that we can do once AI takes over our jobs.
Looking to upskill for the future?
This new AI can perform all coding jobs in seconds, including blockchain development. While this AI is already outperforming accounting firms. Meanwhile, the new graphic design AI aims to automate graphic design and could minimize the need.
Relax. Because in a future where AI does most of the work, there'll be one thing that humans will finally get to do all day long. Nothing. So it's time to learn the most essential skill of the future. 5-Star presents Nothing University with the first ever diploma program in doing nothing. An intensive course covering the most future-ready skills out there.
Well, let me check with the AI and get back to you in a few days.
With our state-of-the-art workshops, campus placements, and guest lectures, the world can finally prepare for the glorious future that awaits us. Meet 5-Star. Do nothing. Enroll now.
just if you have to find some new education to do, try this one. So to wrap up, the age of AI is coming upon us. Yes, it is. It's here and it's here to stay in one way or another. Can we keep our jobs? Well, I'm not afraid for the coming years. AI is developing, it's going fast, but it's not always production ready, and not every company is ready to use it in production. Do I need to worry? No. But you need to know what AI can do for you and for your company, so you're equipped for the future. I read this one online last year. To replace programmers with AI, clients need to accurately describe what they want. We're safe. As long as people don't know they can't describe what they want, we have a job. But a little bit of caution with that. AI won't replace you anytime soon, but someone using AI might. So if you're not using AI and your colleague is, he might do his work faster, better than you. And that might cause a problem in the future. So, just to conclude, AI is a big rabbit hole that you can dive into. It can cost you all your free time, I know, and a lot of discussion at home with the wife. Why are you sitting at a computer again? No, I'm not sitting at a computer. I'm talking with it. But I'm hoping I can inspire you to just try it. Just play around with it and see if you can find a use case for your company, for your work, to make your life easier. Shameless plug. My friend James and I started a podcast recently, and we just recorded our third episode with Ryan Mangan. I don't know if he's in the room. Well, he knows this, of course, so he's not here. That will be released the 5th of April, so please all come hang out with us. And if you want to be on the show because you have a cool story or you want to help or whatever, we're always looking for new content. And it's just two guys talking about what we hear in the news about AI and the cool stuff, and we try to get a guest every month to talk to us about something. We had Johan van Amersfoort on the last podcast, who went on a 6-week holiday and used a large language model bot to do his work. So he imported all the things he knew in the bot, and he said, okay, I'm off for 6 weeks, ask Cody. Good luck with that. And he talked in our podcast about that. That was really awesome. So I'm thinking about doing that so I can do other fun stuff. And with that, thanks all.